Hi everyone, so I'm today, 12th September 2016, decided to get back to the core of what I was actually creating this channel for in the first place, which is not bringing loads and loads of photos and videos as to sort of what is coming, but more the thoughts from a human perspective as what we can do to sort of help each other and stuff. And today I'm doing this video on people and how it's going to generally sort of affect everyone, because it's going to affect everyone. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor. That's pretty bad categories anyway, isn't it? It just doesn't matter who you are. It's going to affect you, and how you handle it is going to be key to how well you survive. And I'll tell you how well you come out of this. Just surviving is the ultimate sort of aim anyway. So I've popped this into a fair few different categories and thoughts around this. So like most people on YouTube, I'm not a subject matter expert in this, but really I'm just trying to do all I can to sort of pass on everything that I've sort of found, and just to try and be as sort of helpful as possible and get everyone thinking really as to sort of what everyone can do to sort of help each other and help themselves as well. So categories of types of people I've got is the elderly, children, got pets as well, your family, your friends, we've got disabled, and generally just the whole rich and poor thing as well anyway. Just general, probably the three core areas of human psyche as to how people will react to this, which is either just complete denial, and even if it's literally crashing down their heads, it's just going to go, no, this ain't happening. The people who panic, who will literally just completely lose it, and the people who go into sort of a fight or flight sort of mode, which is probably the most useful to do. Sorry, that was me cleaning the lens there. Right, so I guess first and foremost, one thing that affects or could affect every single group is medicine. And the type of medicine I'm about is medicines which are sort of repetitive and effectively life critical. So sort of, I guess if you're diabetic, sort of need heart medication, need oxygen, need sort of round the clock care, this is going to be a huge issue. It's going to be a huge issue because unless you've either got a stockpile of medicine or you have a plan in place with people to care for you, depending on which it is, it's not exactly the best outcome, I'm afraid. So realistically, if you need medicine that's life critical, then I'm afraid it's probably going to be game over, which is not the nicest things really. So, two things. Right, so yeah, there's two approaches to this. Either one, you're the person who's going to be affected, or two, you are the person who's going to be seeing the effects of having to deal with the aftermath. So between you both, or all, or however many, I think it's going to be a good time to make peace, really. In whichever way you feel best. Generally get everything sort of prepared, ready as well. Then it's not going to be a nasty shock as such, for one, and on top of that, as well as not being a nasty shock, everything will be in place for afterwards. How anyone copes with their grief, it really is down to the individual, and only the individual can really deal with that as well. Obviously be around everyone to help sort of love and comfort each other. Right, so we'll have a look at sort of the elderly next. Right, so on top of the sort of medical movement, so just generally getting around, they might be hindered, they might be slow on their feet, Zimmer frame, a wheelchair, just generally sort of anything which they might need help with. So making sure you put your plans in place ahead of time, so you can get everyone moved to where they need to be moved to. So that's sort of out the way. Positive is knowledge. Obviously, just because you're old doesn't mean you know everything, or it doesn't mean that you know more anyway. Generally, there might be things from different sort of bygone eras that you've picked up, which are far more helpful to what is going to happen than what us younger, lazier people know and have put into practice over time. I guess things like the fence and stuff like that they can still help with. Just things like glasses and stuff anyway. Just making sure everyone's got everything they generally sort of need with them. You know, if you can sort of get sort of backups or spares, which would be sort of really quite helpful. I think move on to pets next, actually. Most people have, I say most people, but a lot of people have pets. Could be a cat, dog, I don't know, a snake. We've got guinea pigs, hamsters, yeah, just so many different pet types. And you have to decide one of two things, and that is, one, do you take them with you, or two, do you sort of leave them behind, sort of let them go. Do you have enough provisions for them as well? And are they going to be a hindrance? Because if they're going to hinder your very own survival, I'm sorry, guinea pigs, but a human's life is worth more than a guinea pig's when it comes to another human. So you've got to bear that sort of thing in mind. Obviously, depending on pet type, something like a dog could quite happily help with the fence. Could help sort of afterwards, sort of in the aftermath. possibly pulling people out of buildings, sort of anything like that really. I think when it does hit though, there's going to be a lot of scared animals out there, and how they react could be very unpredictable. So I'd say no matter what animal you've got, I'd make sure when the time is nearing that they are popped in a cage or something for everyone's safety, the animal and your own as well. 'Cause you don't want a dog going off on one and sort of biting you a lot. It's really not going to be quite helpful. But yeah, sort of have a think on that one. Sort of just think, well, what are you going to do? You might in the interim say yes, it's a good idea at first, but let everyone know it might not be the best thing. Sort of going fully forward, and as to sort of what might need to change on that one. Right, children. Right, so children come in all ages, shapes, sizes, volumes. Too many volumes. Generally high volumes, never low volumes, which is a real shame. Right, so we'll start with the youngest of kids, so babies. So make sure you've got supplies for your children, sort of clothing, bedding. Make sure you've got enough nappies to get through. Sort of do things like buy sort of washable nappies and things like that. It's going to be far more useful for a longer period afterwards than disposable, and that's diapers in America, but nappies over here in the UK. Sort of make sure you've got, think of everything for the next fair few years of their lives as to what they're going to critically need, which you could buy now relatively cheap and keep hold of for them, because you really don't want it that a year down the line you really need something and you can't get hold of it, or you can get hold of it, but it's literally going to cost you too much. But obviously your own child's life is never going to cost too much. But yeah, there we go. Make sure you've got sort of toys and things to keep it fun. Kids will sort of scream and cry, might go very silent. They might try and sort of hide in places, especially when you think fires. Kids, instead of trying to get out of a building, go and hide under a bed or something and die. So sort of educating those sort of ways, but have sort of plans around the kids. Think of ways to keep them amused. Try and keep things fun and light-hearted with them. Try and give them little tasks to do as well, as long as it's not sort of above and beyond what they can do. So we're moving on to slightly older kids here as well. So I'd probably say anything from five upwards, something like that. So yeah, get them to do things to sort of help out and play, and try and keep it fun and keep it calm for them. I guess with much older kids, then yeah, they're going to know the severity of the situation, and hopefully they'll want to help out more with everyone. Yeah, I think kids are a very hard bunch to cater for. You have to be sort of fair. Make sure you know exactly. Think of some action plan ideas and sort of pop them in place ready. Try and do things to sort of get them prepared without even really realising it. I guess sort of bug out stuff I've got, sort of introduce them to bits and pieces, and sort of go for walks and stuff like that. generally, if you're going to have to be travelling, then yeah, try and get everyone involved in like walking or cycling or something, so everyone's going to be able to do it, even if it takes a bit longer. And they're not going to know it at the time anyway for now, but at least when it does come, you're going to be in a better position for it. So I wouldn't even mention it to kids and stuff for now. Wait till it happens, and then sort of keep it light-hearted and sort of get on with the plan that you've put in place. Right, so sort of next is family. My apologies for this video being a bit on the grainy side. Keep getting interrupted tonight. So on to family. So that's going to be sort of close and immediate parents, brothers, sisters, siblings, that sort of thing. Sort of aunts, uncles, cousins, nephews, and how they're going to cope, and even if they're going to listen to you, they might not do. It could be too far away anyway. But yeah, they just might not want to listen and be in the same location. And if they do, they'll either be looking to you for answers, or and wanting you to sort of sort everything as such, or they will never know, might want to take control of the situation. It all depends on sort of ages and stuff, and be very similar with friends as well. That's going to be a tricky one if no one lives near each other. You might find they'd rather be with their family in such a time. So yes, but generally, I guess when it comes to friendships, it depends how sort of aged your friendship is. So, what you can sort of do, delegate, sort of pooling together, sort of picking on each person's skill sets to really bring the most out of everyone within the group, work to everyone's strengths. Right, next group was disabled. So that is a lot like the elderly, so sort of bed bound, wheelchair bound, sort of anything like that really. It depends where you are and stuff, how much you can help. I'm sure a lot of people can get by on their own anyway with a lot of disabilities. But if you need like ramp access and stuff, and buildings have gone and collapsed and stuff, it's going to make it quite difficult. So really will need to sort of look out for that sort of vulnerabilities there as such. Addictive people, so people who are very much addicted to sort of drinks and drugs, anything which is very quickly after it's going to run up for quite a while. They're going to pose a big problem because their rationale is not going to be there in the slightest. So they're going to be an absolute ticking time bomb. So that sort of situation, if you know them and you can sort of control or quarantine, then you can try. If you don't, be ready with a hard and fast defence, is about what I can say there. So probably one of the biggest things is the 3 different group types, sort of mentioned earlier. So if we start with denial, these people are going to be told as to what's going to happen, and no matter what, they're just going to not believe it. Even when they can see it in the sky, they're not going to believe it, and be pointing out, and you get really, really frustrated. That's going to be really hard, especially if it's loved ones and stuff. I don't know what the best approach there is. It depends how well you know them, how much you care for them, and want them to see the wood through the trees and get their backside shifting and get going with you to where you need to be. So I guess if it comes down to it, maybe just a bit of physical force just to get moving. If it's someone you know but they're in denial and they ain't gonna budge, you've got to think of everyone else around you, and I'm afraid it'll be a bit of a tricky decision, but these are sort of things where thinking ahead of them now, when it comes to it, you have it more clearly in your mind. I guess you could even put down a whole list of everyone you know. Think, well, sort of think what strengths they've got, their sort of weaknesses, what resources they've got and stuff. Yeah, sort of weigh up everyone doing that. It will make these decisions a lot quicker and easier. Don't really want a list as such, it seems horrible, but sort of need to do what you need to do. The panicking type, they're going to be a royal pain because they'll probably follow you everywhere, but they're probably not going to help too much at first. This is where you need to really get them focused on something and just maybe doing one thing, pick one thing and say, do this, just do that, and sit there and just reassurance, just literally everything's going to be fine. Even if you really worry yourself life through your teeth and just go, everything's going to be fine. I've known about this for quite a while now, and I know roughly what we're up against, so I can help more. Again, it's a bit like the War of the Worlds musical, where what is it? The preacher's wife is, well, the preacher's making lots and lots of noise and wants to confront the aliens. He's going to give the position away of everyone in that room, and so the newspaper man, sort of writer, journalist, so on, literally punches and knocks him out, because if he doesn't, it's going to kill all of them. So it's quite harsh, I know, but got to think of the preservation of everyone for the greater good. So denial people, you know, you're not going to really, you might not budge them. You might just have to say, well, I'm very sorry for you, and I'm off. Panicking people probably stick to you like glue, and you might need to just hit them on the head with a big rubber mallet just to get them to stop for a bit. So the last group is the fighting group. So they'll go one or two ways. They'll be wanting to sort of put control in and tell them what to do, and they might literally fight or flight mode, go, oh my god, I've got to do this, and they might literally just charge out the door and vanish. Or they might try and take the reins on things, or at least if they got some fight in them, sort of work with them better, and work to do everything with everyone. I'd say potentially a dangerous set, but possibly not really. I'm going to have to just think of ways to sort of say, well, granted, I know you just seen this and you're worried and this and that. It's where like a leaflet or something really sort of come in handy, sort of say, well, this and that, I know, and look, here it is. Stop and have a look for a minute. And you have a bit of time to quickly go over things. Right, and then just sort of last but not least is I guess generally sort of the rich and the poor. And to be honest with you, it's going to make no difference once the economy's been sort of wiped out. World War III, I don't think they're going in that route. I know you've got to get out of trillions of dollars of debt somehow, but you don't really need to if you're just waiting for a planet to effectively reset itself. So yeah, it's going to make no difference. Being prepared ahead is the main thing. So have a think of summarise. So have a think of all the people around you, all the ones you love, care about, care for. Think about their needs for medicine, for transport and travel. Think about your pets. Give everyone a strength and weakness. Sort of. You could give people a quick grade. You can think of what sort of key things they've got. I know a lot of my friends sort of do camping and a bit of fishing and things like that, and sort of ex-soldiers and electricians and plumbers and things like that, and there's a lot of great skills and with them tools, lots of things that are very helpful to be able to get through things better. I think literally also have a think what sort of people each one of them will be. It's quite hard to really tell. You can sort of gauge things to some level. I think probably in the panicky group, sort of hypochondriacs are absolute nightmares. If you're not going to have the time for them, literally you're just going to have to leave them, or just literally get that big rubber mallet and hit them on the head to put them back in perspective. Great example I had this was years ago. I was being a diving instructor. Water was probably about 4 degrees centigrade, so I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. What was it? Divided by 3 minus 20 or something like that? No idea. So I took my group of 4 divers, went to jump in. The ones that jumped in, they were fine. And then there was a set with one girl. Could generally be anyone. Doesn't. Yeah, girl, and literally she jumped in. And she panicked that the water was too cold because she had a teeny tiny hole in her glove. So she had to take control of the situation, get her straight back out up the ladder, get my other divers out safely, get them to wait there while I then went back to where all the other divers were sort of waiting, getting kitting up, and then sort of had to carry on. So have a think about situations you've been in, sort of volatile, sort of upset situations, etc. And try and just have a bit of analysis head on as to what do I need to do, what's most important, is this compromising safety? In all this, safety is paramount. So I think I've ranted on about people for quite a while now, actually. So have a think about everyone sort of around you. I forgot neighbours as well. I guess they'd come under sort of friends. Yeah, even neighbours and stuff. Because obviously the more sorry, interrupted again. So yeah, literally have a think. Think something like sort of strengths, weaknesses. Everyone's got something they can bring. Just think about coping with what's going to happen around you. That's going to be the worst bit, I think, is the deaths, and it's inevitable, I'm afraid. Yeah, let me know your thoughts as ever. Good luck, everyone.